Hello everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. I talk about books on this channel, mainly books about magic, and today we are going to be playing my TBR game for September, and therefore Mystic Readathon. Hello everyone and welcome to September's TBR game. So we're going to be playing TBR Bingo today, which I will explain in just a minute. But first, I want to take a second to tell you about Mystic Readathon, which is hosted by Nell over at Nell's Next Chapter. And this is a Vampire Diaries themed readathon that I will be helping co-host in September. I am a co-host for Team Human with Margaret from the Word Nerd. So if you haven't heard of this before and you'd like to join, come join us. It's going to be a ton of fun, and I am so excited for this year. Nell has created this. This is the second year it's run, and it has so many fun community building elements along with lots of fun gameplay elements. So if you're looking for a readathon for September, I think you should join this one. Go check that out. Like I said, I will have Nell and the announcement link down below for you to check out, but I definitely recommend it. There is also very cool merch, which you can also check out over at Nell's announcement video. But now that we've talked about Mystic, I want to jump into the rules of my TBR bingo game. So basically what I do is I roll a d6 at first to determine how many squares are going to be on my bingo board. So if I get a 2, it's a 2x2 board, and so on and so forth. Once I roll for the size of the board, I will roll a d20 to show me which prompts I'm going to get for the month. And this is all number based, and it's different levels of difficulty depending on what I roll. So a 1 to a 5 is a hard prompt, one that I wouldn't normally do, one that pushes me outside my comfort zone, or one that just isn't something necessarily that I always want to pick up or do. So these are lifestyle and reading prompts. So I might have something like unhaul a book or read a genre that I don't pick up often in the hard prompts. Then from 6 to 15 are the basic prompts. These are the ones that I would typically do on a daily basis, ones that really fit into my reading, the books I have available, things that I like and enjoy and would be like easy for me to do regularly. Then we get the 16 to 20 prompts, which are reward prompts. These are my favorite things, my favorite genres, my favorite activities, my, a free space, a night off of reading, etc., things that are rewards or things that I really want to do or really want to get out of the game. So now that you have the basic rules, we will roll to see how big the board is. So this is the first time that we get to roll a second time. This is the first time the 1 rule has come into effect. So we're gonna roll again. I was really hoping for a small board this month, and this has the possibility of giving me like the biggest board possible, because if I roll a 6, then it will be 7 by 7, which is so many prompts. But I'm really hoping for something small so that I can both participate in Mystic and see what the prompts are and do those, as well as accomplish my TBR bingo. So let's see what the dice has in store for me. Well, after that initial roll, the board was not exactly kind and gave me a 5 by 5 board, which is fine. It's fine. We will carry on. Let's jump into the prompts. So the first one I got was Indigenous Author, and for this I want to choose Never Whistle at Night, and this is an anthology of short stories by Indigenous authors that I have been wanting to read for a while now. I think I put it on my R Fantasy TBR last year, so this is one that has been on my radar and I would like to check out. So this is going to be my pick for this prompt. Next up is Finish a Series, and for this I am going to put this on here, and I swear I'm going to do this time, but I have put this on several times now, and it is The Whispering Night by Susan Dennard. This is the 3rd and final book in the Luminary series, and I would like to finish this series because I have really enjoyed it and I want to get into it, and the fall Halloween, witchy season seems like the perfect time to do that. In this, we are following Winnie, who in the first book, she is exiled because of something her father did. She's exiled from this group of like paranormal creature hunters that she has been born into, and they can't let her leave because she knows about what is going on in their world, but also she can't join in the things she was trained for because of this exile, at least not right now. So she figures out a way that she can go through the trials. There's no rule saying that she can't, so she decides to join those trials in order to try and become a hunter, even though she's exiled. So this is the third and final book. I'm really excited to see how this all wraps up, and I need to do it. I need to do it. My next prompt was to pick a random Taylor Swift song. So there is actually a spinner wheel out there with most Taylor Swift songs on it. So I used that as my picker rather than trying to shuffle my Taylor Swift songs. And we got Champagne Problems, which is quite the song to appear on this. So that was interesting. But as soon as this came up, I thought of Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard, and it's more of the tone of the song than anything related to like the actual lyrics or anything like that. I just finished my reread of Blood Witch, and I just didn't realize how much strife that the characters go through in that book, and therefore I am really feeling like kind of melancholy going into this book and afraid that our characters are going to be even more in dire straits in here. Specifically Isolde. I'm worried about her a lot. So I'm really anxious to get to this book. I'd like to read it in September. This is one of my top priorities because I would like to finish the final book in November when it comes out. But I'd like to be prepared. So I don't think I'm going to be prepared, but realizing I'm putting a lot of Susan Dennard pain on my TBR is correct. So yes, this feels like it would work. I don't know why, it just immediately popped into my head. I should also tell you that this is the fourth book in the Witchland series by Susan Dennard. The first book is Truth Witch, and we're following a cast of characters as a 20-year truce has broken and the war is going to resume, but there are so many plot points within the series at this point that I can't tell you what this is about, but I absolutely love this series. It has a really cool magic system, and it's gonna really hurt me. Next up was an R Fantasy space, and if you don't know what R Fantasy is, it is a Reddit reading challenge where you receive a board and then you have to fill it in with different prompts. And I have done a number of things on this board, but I haven't done the top left corner, which is Knights or Paladins. So I want to pick up Bloodmarked by Tracy Dion. This is the second book in the Legendborn cycle. The first book is about Bree, who goes to college a bit early because she is recovering from losing her mother, and she just would like to have a fresh start. She goes to college and she goes to this party and sees something strange there and starts to investigate if she can figure out what's going on at college, and it starts to kind of connect back to her mom, so she investigates even more. And this is the second book. I have been putting this off simply because I thought I needed to reread, but I think I'm going to try to watch a couple of recaps and then jump into this book and kind of just sink or swim, because I didn't go back to Legendborn. I think Oathbringer is the next book. Oathbound? Oath something. I need to worry about this book right now. This is the next one in the series. I really want to read it, so I am putting it on this TBR. And I've already got a bunch of really thick books on this September TBR. Next up is contemporary setting, and for this I'm choosing Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I don't know a ton about this book. I think it is set in contemporary times, because most Emily Henry books are, and I would also, I know it's a little bit inspired by a Taylor Swift song. So I would like to read this. I already read my Taylor Jenkins Reid release for this year, so I need to get to this one. I'm very, very excited about it, and the sprite edges are so gorgeous. Anyway, so I'm hoping that this will be my next from Libby as well. Next up is illustrated cover, and for this I'm choosing the Raven Boys graphic novel by Maggie Stiefvater. This came out earlier this year, a couple of months ago, maybe a month ago, not long ago, and I picked it up because I love the Raven cycle and I've been meaning to get to this, but this is obviously a illustrated cover, and in this we are following Blue, who is the only non-psychic member of her very psychic family. She can make other psychics louder, but she can't hear or like intuit things herself, so she is kind of on the outs with them, and then she meets a group of boys who are trying to find a dead Welsh king and starts adventuring with them, and I love it dearly. Next up was Free Space. Woo! In a big board like this, I'm always excited when Free Space happens. Next up was physical read, and it could be one of two things. It could either be the Raven Boys graphic novel, or it could be Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, because for this one, I listened to Beach Read first by Emily Henry, and then I tried to pick up, I think, Funny Story like soon afterwards last year, and I could only hear January when I listened to the book. So I have listened to other books by this narrator since then, but I always am a little nervous going in that I'm only going to hear January when I'm reading this book. So it might end up being a physical read, but I'm hoping that I can listen to it on audio. Next was recently hauled, and we are doubling, tripling up as much as possible on this big board, so it is the Raven Boys again. Then we have From Someone Else's TBR Game. Now, at the time that I'm filming this, I haven't seen a ton of TBRs come out just yet. It is only the 24th, so we have about a week left of August anyway, so I haven't seen a ton of TBR games come out. The only one I saw was Brittany from Brittany Loves Reading so far did her Timmy's TBR, and that's because I'm part of her Patreon, so I don't want to spoil anything from her game yet. So I might have a pick from there, but this is probably going to be something that I either insert, depending on how late I edit this, or something that I'll have to choose during the month. Then we have Book Club Book, and for this I'm choosing Kindred by Octavia E. Butler. I am currently attending like a book club book like discussion at my local indie where we're talking about Octavia E. Butler, and this is the one that we have to read right now, and you will see more of Octavia E. Butler on this list later because I had to fit her in because we're going to be reading these books throughout September. Then I do love a task prompt that doesn't include a book, and so Unhaul One Book will be a challenge to me in September. I'm going to use the same book for the next two prompts, so I just showed you both. The first is Backlist Book, and the second is Queer Characters, and for this I'm plugging in Witch Shadow by Susan Dennard once again, because I'm very excited. I'm going to get to this book. I'm going to be prepped and ready to finish this series when it comes out in November and be destroyed by it, so I have to get to this. Oh my gosh. Then we got a comic book, and for this I'm just gonna go to the library because I'm not sure if I want to start. I sometimes start rereading this Batman series at this time of year, or I might get something else, but it might be a Batman comic, but I haven't decided yet. It might be a Superman comic, I don't know, but right now I'm thinking I'll just go to the library and pick something. I haven't been keeping up on any of the series that I follow, so I would need to pick something. I need to figure out where I am. Then we got reread, and for this I am once again putting on the Kate Daniels series because I'm really trying to finish my reread of this, and I didn't get to it in August. I simply read way too many things all at once in August and didn't finish anything until the very end of the month. So we are going to get to Magic Binds in September. My next roll is taking me to the bookstore, so I am very excited for this roll. I'm so happy whenever this comes up, so I get to go to the bookstore and either buy stationery or buy just fun books. Then we got Baseball Romance, and this specific prompt could not have worked out any better because I have an arc of Breakout Year by Katie Casey that I need to read. I'm very, very excited about it, and I can't wait to read it, and I haven't had time in August, so this is going to be a right away at the start of September read, and it also fits for like the end of the season, start of playoffs, so very excited. In this we're following Readathon, who is a newly traded, freshly out, and the first out Major League Baseball player, and he decides to hire a boyfriend just for the cameras, just to kind of have a safe space to kind of control what's going on. And what he doesn't expect is it to be a player who disappeared off the map a few years ago after ghosting Readathon, and he kind of is surprised by this, and the two of them are fake boyfriends, but then things start to change there, of course. I'm very excited for this one. It sounds like a lot of fun, and I love Katie Case's baseball romances, so I'm very, very, very excited for this one. Then we got a night off of reading, which actually might be a challenge with how many pages I'm giving myself in September. Next on Libby will hopefully be Great Big Beautiful Life, but the Libby gods only know. Next up was historical fiction, and I am going to fudge this a little bit because I'm going to put Kindred by Octavia E. Butler in here. There are more genres to this book, of course, and it's not just historical fiction, but it is set in the past at this point for both timelines, because there is a timeline where our main character is in the 1970s, which is her present, and then she goes back in time to the early 1800s, which is the past for her, but both are the past for me. So I'm going to put this in here even though it is a genre blend of several other genres. Ooh. If I read everything I say I'm going to read, reducing my physical TBR by 5 books should not be a problem. But I have to read everything I said I'm going to read and not wander off and read something else. So we'll see. This is one of the hardest cards in the game. So we will see how I fare with this book, or with this challenge. A 2025 release is several of the books I named. The Raven Boys, Great Big Beautiful Life, Breakout Year is going to come out in September, so lots of options there that are already on the TBR. Then we have a future setting, and I'm going to choose Dawn by Octavia E. Butler. I know this is supposed to be set in the future after a nuclear war, so I'm going to use this since I already have to read it for that class that I talked about. And that's about all I know about this book, but I have been wanting to read it since the beginning of this year, since it will also fit my Our Fantasy TBR for a book published in the 80s, and then hard mode is by a BIPOC author. So I'm reading for a couple of different challenges and things in my life by picking up this book, and I am excited to try it. And then 25 in 25 is Bree's challenge from Four Paws in a Book that she put out at the beginning of this year. And I have several squares left on here. The one that I have chosen for now is Seasonal by Celeste, or Seasonal is the prompt. And I would like to choose Deja Brew by Celestine Martin. So this series is a little tricky because it is a set of companion witchy romances set around a Jersey shore town and the witches that live there, specifically a family of witches. And in the first book, I really liked the couple, gave it 4 stars, had a good time, recently reread it and still liked it. The second book I just recently tried and I ended up DNFing at like 65%, and now I'm gonna try the third one because I'm interested in the main character and I also have an arc. So I'm gonna try this one and see if it works out. I do think that I DNF'd the second one for similar problems that I saw in the first book, so we'll see how this goes, but I am interested to see this particular character, particular family member, and how her romance goes because I've liked her throughout the books. So that is my attempt at an early fallish book here because there's like pumpkins and very warm tones and it's very, very cute. And I want to like this series so badly. So we're going to try this third book and see what happens. But that is it for my TBR for this month. I say that's it, even though this is a lot of prompts, a lot of books, a lot of pages that I'm going to try to read. And I still have to finish several things that I have going in August. So hopefully those will all be cleared out by the end of the month and then we can just focus on this. But if you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything about the books that I talked about today, please let me know down below. If you aren't feeling chatty, just leave me a baseball emoji, either a baseball bat, baseball, whatever, in honor of Breakout Year that's coming out. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye!